Hey, 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 what it do though? What it do though? What it do though? What's good, D boy? We back. How you guys living? What's good? We have a lineup today. A lineup. Super line. Super fine. What's good? How you guys living, man? Hope you guys are having a great one. Hope your weekend has been fantastic. What's good? We got Boss in this thing, Nolan in this thing. What's up with it? No, I've just put some stuff in it to kind of make it curl a little bit more. Didn't get a haircut. No haircut action. Just product action. The car said, in an event in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I swear if I see another Red Eyes Dragon, I'm going to go crazy. Hey, yo, shit. What's good, though, guys? How you guys living, man? We have a crazy lineup today. Obviously, Kaiju's back, so we got that. We got Dan Dan, we got One Piece, we got Lord of Mysteries. Lord of Mysteries today will be the final to see if we continue to keep going with the series, okay? We have the second Clevatess episode. Again, also on the what do we call it again? Why I keep brain fart on the wild card vibes. I don't know why I keep brain fart on that. On the wild card vibes, we got Clevatess. We watched the first episode on Thursday, and that episode was awesome. It was a great 40-minute first episode, so very interesting. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. So we'll see if it actually lives up. But if you haven't seen Clevatess, I think it's definitely one of those. It could be a surprise. It could be a surprise of the year for sure. But are you continuing Yaiba? Maybe. Maybe. When I took the time to reset my channel stuff, I honestly forgot about it. And it's one of those things where I'm like, all right. This is the motto moving forward for shows that I'm watching. 3 episodes, and that's all I'm giving it. If it's not like I'm on this, then we off it. If it's something where I like it, but I know it's not really performing well, it'll just be on Patreon. We're not doing everything for YouTube, so it'll be streams and Patreon for everything, and then select things will be edited for YouTube. But yeah, I'm not sure on the Yaiba yet. The quality was fine. But I don't know if I was really like, okay, am I really locked in? We may revisit it. I'm not saying that I won't, but it is like the prototypical old school shonen. I just watch it for the pretty visuals. Right. Okay. Got you. But yeah, so we have a lineup. Obviously, To Be Hero X, One Piece, Dan. We have a lot today. Yeah, today could be the final episode for us with Lord of Mysteries if I feel like I'm just not really into it. So we'll see. What are our hopes for episode 4 to redeem? Honestly, bro, has nothing to do with the quality. The quality of the animation is you know what this feels like? This feels like the exact opposite of what most of the time we expect of a show, where we've heard such great things about a show, but it's animated so poorly where you just kind of are like, all right, this is the exact opposite, where it feels like there's a lot happening in the story, but because of creative decisions and potentially financial decisions, they decided to speed through 75 chapters in the first episode, or in the first 3 episodes, whatever the case is. It's a lot that they're moving forward in, and it just didn't give me any time to get an idea what the hell I'm watching. So it's more of a pacing thing for me, and I don't feel invested in any of the characters right now. And that's just being as objective as I possibly can. I said before, it's not the issue of it looking good. It looks phenomenal. It's probably, if not the best animated show in this year. in terms of the quality of the animation. But it's, you know, I just don't know. Yeah, it just doesn't seem as interesting as everybody says it is. It's very similar to when people have this idea of, I guess in the inverse, when we're talking about Tabate, where it was like, look, I'm watching it right now because I know what the story is and I just want to see these characters animated, even though the animation is dog water. But I like the story that it ends up telling. But the first season, like it told it okay. It wasn't really that great, but regardless of the fact, you guys understand what I'm saying. This is a similar scenario where it's beautifully animated, but I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on here. So yeah. Animation can only carry you so far. Look, yeah. Oh, Gachi Akuta was today too. We have to add that. We have a lot to cover today, guys. We have a lot to cover. So with that being said, make sure I don't forget about Gachi Akuta, please. Make sure I don't forget about that. So first we're going to start out with Superman. We have to talk about this. Okay. We have to talk about Superman. Then we're going to jump into some anime reactions. If you guys don't want to miss the anime reactions, please make sure you guys jump over to the Twitch, because I can't react to the anime on YouTube for obvious reasons. And if you don't know the obvious reasons, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Let me just make sure the Discord knows what's going on.
This world shall know pain.
Because I hit the M. Somokoya, what does that mean? What it says, what's popping, Captain of the Ninth Division? Somokoya, a translation for your name in Japanese of the Soul Society. So what does that mean? What is Somokoya? What is that? Secret of the Silent Witch is also a good sleeper if you haven't seen. Okay, got you. Size lol, what up? What's goody? All right. We'll see who's popping through before we get in, because I know some people that actually had seen Superman on the Discord. They were like, yo, I want to know your thoughts. So I'm about to jump into this. So yeah. Soya in translation is a translation for Adonis and Koya. Oh, really? It means brilliant moon, apparently. That's sick. Somokoya. That's fire. That is fire. Is that really my name in Japanese? For real? Can we cross-reference this? What? What? Hold on. Are you sure? Are you sure? Or you just make that up? I use ChatGPT. Hey, that's crazy. Let me see. Not OS 007, bro. OS 007's following me, bro. Get check. Hey, bro, he got the update. OS, what up, bro? All right, are we ready to do this? Let's jump into this thing, bro. I read somewhere that Lord of the Mysteries is putting out like 5 mil USD an episode, which, to be fair, with how massive a company Tencent is, it doesn't shock me. Look, it's honestly one of those things of like, just because you throw money at it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be fantastic. There's been plenty of movies that has happened with, but yeah, we'll see how episode 4 goes, bro. We'll see how episode 4 goes. But let's turn this music down. We have to get into some serious business. Let me just make sure we record this properly. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure we record this properly. Oh, better chill out, player. Oh yes, it's time. It is time. I was hoping that Aisha would be in here today, but I don't think she'll be able to be here, just because I know she saw the movie as well. All right, let's see. And we're gonna get these recording. Boom, boom. Awesome. All right. And we are back with a Superman movie review. Now, I haven't done a review of a movie in a really long time, and a DC movie at that for a very long time. I think the last movie we did, I chatted with Ismahawk, with the team around the Batman, because we really enjoyed that movie. I was actually gonna have Danny come on today, but schedule just did not allow that to happen. We had chatted about it, and we just got done filming something really sick, so stay tuned. But yeah, Superman. Very excited about this movie. I had came into this movie as my most anticipated movie of the year, and it being such an important film for DC, I was nervous, I was excited, and it was just one of those things where I was a massive fan of Man of Steel. Man of Steel is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. So I was like, okay, what's the tone that they're going to take with the DCU this go around? What are they going to do with it? Because that's really what I'm interested in. What's James Gunn wanting to do with the DCU? This isn't, and I'm just not a part of the squad of, you know, if you like Zack Snyder stuff, you have to hate everything else. I'm just not about it. This is a whole other artist's take on this character, in the same vein that in the comics, Superman has been a different type of character when he gets rebooted, or whatever version of Superman is. Some are just different, even though the core of them is similar. You know what I'm saying? So I've always kind of been neutral on what is this producer, what is the director, what are the writers trying to convey with this particular version of the character. In the same way with the MCU, most people are like, oh, well, this didn't happen in the comics. I've always viewed the MCU as its own type of comic. This is what they're trying to tell in their comic, right? So this is no different to me. So Superman 2025. I'm glad that they changed the name. I thought the initial name, Superman Legacy, just didn't really hit, in like the sub name just wasn't necessary. So Superman 2025, we kind of get dropped in, and I was kind of happy about that. I didn't want to see another origin story. I've seen the Superman origin story so many times. It's like, I don't need to see it again. So I'm glad we kind of got through that. The very first sequence is essentially not a title crawl, but a quick synopsis of like, X amount of years ago, he lands. X amount of years ago, this happened. X amount of years ago, this happens. 10 minutes ago, it's a really quick, like, hey, let's get to it. Boom, we end the movie. And I thought it was dope. I thought it was dope how it introed Superman, this version of Superman. So I was cool with that. And I liked the character of Superman in this movie. It was one of those things too where tonally the movie felt bright. It was vibrant. It was a completely different tone from the Snyderverse, right? And I love the Snyderverse tone. Like, I like that dark, grimy vibe. At the same time, I'm not opposed to a bright tone either. I mean, if you look at any of the Superman comics, like in the Superman comics, the animated shows, a lot of them are bright. And that's something that this felt more like. This felt more like a comic book than a graphic novel. Like, Snyder has like a graphic novel type taste to his aesthetic. This definitely felt more comic book to me. But with that being said, the characters that they displayed in the movie, I thought were fun. It was a fun time. I liked Lois's character, like that first sequence of Lois interviewing Superman. Hilarious. By the way, if I did not state, this is going to be a spoiler talk. I will be talking about actual things. So if you guys don't want to be spoiled and want to go into Superman blind, please come back after this, because I don't want to spoil anybody, but this will be a spoiler review. Okay. As we move forward. So that first conversation that Lois has with Superman, not with Clark, with Superman, was awesome, because Clark, being Clark, he doesn't know at this point in time how to separate himself from Superman, especially in the, reporter space, because he's always interviewing Superman, which is hilarious. So he was like, I'll give you an interview. And she was like, you let me interview you as Superman. And he's like, yeah. She's like, okay, like, if that's what you want, but I'm not going to hold back on the questions that people are going to want to ask. And I love the fact that it was more so focused around, she was able to separate herself from the relationship and say, okay, as a reporter, I have to ask questions that people are going to want to ask. Right? As a reporter, it's not about if I like you or not. It's about, as a reporter, I need to ask you serious questions. I can't just because we're dating or whatever, or I think you're great, that I can't ask you hard questions and be actually objective and coming from a perspective of, I'm the voice of the people right now. I thought that was really dope, especially in the whole journalism aspect of it. I thought it was fire. Daily Planet in general just felt like comic book Daily Planet. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just kind of like the low-key banter that you were seeing, because it seemed like some of the scenes you would have in the Superman cartoon. Like, it was like, it just what it felt like, of just kind of like the gossip talk of the two girls looking at Jimmy. Like, it just felt like some of the sequences I would have seen in like the animated series, right? Just really felt like that to me. But yeah, definitely a super excited, super fun Daily Planet. The Justice Gang, hilarious. Thought the Justice Gang was fun. Again, fun is like a common thread in this film, to me, was the fun aspect of it. You had Guy Gardner, which was he's already a very different character than Hal Jordan. So I think a lot of people, if they're not knowing that, he's very different in demeanor, very different. So I loved that aspect of it for sure. Hot Girl, me and my partner Bree had saw The Last of Us, and I didn't know that the actress that was playing Hot Girl was also in that. I was like, oh, that's crazy. Again, cool, especially during that moment, where she had the president of that country, and he was like, Superman wouldn't kill people. He's like, I'm not Superman. Goodbye. Like, I thought that was fire. I was like, okay, like, I'm not Superman, player, so don't get it twisted. Which also is one of those comic book things, right? Where certain characters, just because you're a part of the Justice League or right now the Justice Gang, that the no killing thing is some people's MOs. That's not everybody's MO. So I liked that quite a bit. And then Mr. Terrific, I think, was one of my favorite characters, to be honest. I think in terms of demeanor, just kind of like the deadpan comedy that he has, like his whole demeanor is just kind of straightforward, super informative. Like he's just he's very literal. I just thought he was funny. I thought he was super hilarious to me. I feel like if I was a superhero, that would be a similar demeanor. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's very like logical. It's just funny. I think it's hilarious, especially when he was like, all right, they were at the Hall of Justice. Fire, by the way. Hall of Justice, yes. But having that whole sequence of when they're about to leave to go find Superman, the remote control to unlock the hangar, I just thought it was hilarious. It was just so funny to me. I was like, bruh, this is funny. Let's talk about Lex. Lex. I liked Lex a lot. I thought Lex, I feel like we're going to get more on Lex. I feel like it was more, again, we're dropped in. So we kind of got this, we got some of it from like the, you know, you're an alien, I want to be the pinnacle type shit based on my intellect and don't compare me to these other people type. He is the ultimate ego, the ultimate expression of what he feels is the pinnacle of human, right? That's what he thinks he is. And now that's being tested by somebody that is not human, right? I'm very curious to explore more with this character. I feel we will. But I loved Lex. I loved how evil he was. Like, I was like, oh, this is crazy. The roulette situation, crazy. Bang. Oh, that ended way sooner than I thought. Like, okay, like we're here. This is the Lex we have. Interesting. I like that. I like how evil he is. The fact that he gets made out as like this swindler, bad, evil person as well at the end, and you can see this seething anger, the cry of like, they chose you over me type shit. Like, just I loved that sequence. I thought it was awesome. Like, he was just so angry. And what is gonna come of that? Like, not only do you have a Lex that has cloned you into Ultraman, right? And we find that out. Obviously, it was assumed, but we find that out that he clones him. And not only that, has memorized how Superman fights to the point where he's like, all right, cool. I am going to pick you apart because the clone that I made of you isn't perfect. He's kind of a moron. So I have to teach him how to fight you. The whole setup of this, you know, faux Iron Man juggernaut thing that Ultraman was in to start this whole like political, you know, battle between Superman and these heads of state was sick. Like, again, these are the things that I would expect of a Lex, of I am this genius. Like, there's no debate on his genius. There's no debate on the plan setup. Like, I loved that. Whereas the previous version of Lex with Jesse Eisenberg, it was kind of there was some level of planning, right? Whether you liked his delivery of Lex is a completely different thing, but just story-wise, there was like this plan that he had that you can say played out the way he wanted to. The whole setup between him and Bruce and all of that, and he knew you had this kind of like thing, and you got more of how that story made sense in the plan, seeing the Batman v Superman, the ultimate cut or whatever it was called. It made way more sense. The theatrical version made Lex, it didn't actually deliver that well, but the ultimate edition or whatever it is called fleshed out his kind of planning of things way more. It made more sense. In this, like, you can, like, Lex is out the gate, shut him down, right? And then his girlfriend, early on, you see her, again, this is where I think the writing in this movie is awesome. You had this girlfriend that seemed like a ditz, always taking selfies, you know, blah, blah. Come to find out she was building evidence against what was going on. And because she was such a ditz, came off like it wasn't a big deal. She's just out here taking selfies. But ultimately was taking photos of her in front of important docs. Genius. Like, things at the time when you're seeing her doing it, you're just like, oh, this idiot over here just taking photos because she Lex's boo thing. Again, written really well. The battles were pretty good. I think that they could be better. I think that in my opinion was kind of the weaker side of things in the film. In terms of the fight sequences, I think that there was really awesome moments. I also think in the fights themselves, the choreography of the fight could have been better. I think Mr. Terrific probably had the dopest looking fight when he ends up going to where the portal was and he, you know, puts the dome up and starts going. I just thought that was that definitely felt like that had the taste of a Guardians fight, to be honest with you. Outside of that, there were really cool moments that you have of Superman, obviously with the spinning laser eye vibe when those other, I keep forgetting what he called them, but all the other pieces of the military showed up and he's like, all right, let me go body them real quick. I thought that was dope. Yeah, there was some really cool moments in there, but I think if I were to pick the lower side of things, I think the fight choreography could have been better. I think I was expecting more out of that. But ultimately, I think I saw something of, I forgot who it was. I saw a clip on TikTok or Twitter, I forgot, but some guy was complaining about, he was definitely someone that is, at least from my perspective of it, was very focused on, I'm a huge Zack Snyder fan of that version of Superman. This version of Superman is stupid. You guys are complaining that Superman killed Zod, but Superman killed Ultraman. Superman didn't kill Ultraman. I just want to make sure we're fully aware of what's going on here. You honestly think that in this world, they didn't say, from what I gather, it's a black hole, right? We don't know where this black hole goes. The idea that he somehow killed himself going into this void, there was no death. Okay, let's just start with that right out the gate. It's like, you can imply that if a human goes to this black hole, they're dead. I don't think if Superman goes into a black hole, he's going to die. I just don't think that's the case. So I don't know if that's a equivalent complaint, or you're trying to get over on people complaining that Superman killed Zod, but then he ends up killing Ultraman in here. I don't think Ultraman died. I think you could possibly go that route if you want to imply that he died, but I don't think that he would have died. I don't think Superman would have died if he would have went to a black hole. I just think he would have got sucked into a black hole. But again, just you know. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's something that some people just have a feeling about because there was so much backlash on Superman killing someone. And I think some people are trying to justify, like, oh, well, it's a clone of him, so it's not really it's like, cool, like, I get it, but I don't think that he died. You could imply, but I don't think that he died. So, regardless of the fact, what do I think of this movie in terms of, like, the other, I guess, aspects of it? Like, we see Kara in the movie at the end. That was cool. She's more of a a rogue-esque type of character. Very cool. The Kents, I loved that. I loved like seeing the Kents as very, very kind of laid back country folk, value based type of humans, right? Like not really concerned about material, and you can see how that translates into Clark. Him finding out what the Codex message was, the other end of it. Was it true? Was it not true? Was it doctored? Not really sure, but that started to play on Superman's head, and he was like, everything else, and Pa Kent was like, look, like all the decisions you've made really decide on who you are. And that whole sequence at the end was really touching. Of, they referenced early on in the film when he was, being rejuvenated, that he had a video of his parents that said, "Oh, it soothes him," and they did it again at the end, but it showed like the Kent family. That was cool. Like, I don't really need them to kind of dictate my future. This has been my life anyway. So these are the people that have raised me. I thought it was really clever, and it was done really well. Yeah, I had a great time with Superman. I think you can enjoy both films. I think as a film, as an artistic film, I think I prefer Man of Steel. But Man of Steel has always been one of my favorite superhero movies, because I just like the tone and what they were trying to do in that movie. But I also really like this version of Superman. In some ways, I like it more. I like the more family-friendly approach to it. Just tonally, like, this has a whole very different family-friendly vibe that I think more people, like in my theater, my theater was packed. It was like middle of the day. It was like 12 o'clock. It was packed. There was families in there, kids laughing, having a good time. I remember watching Man of Steel. There was more adults. There wasn't a lot of families in there. This definitely had more of a family aesthetic, a family approachable vibe to it. So yeah, I just think it's one of those, like, I think it was more so of like a solid entry into the DCU to kind of give us an idea of tone that we may get in the future, an idea of the fun we may have in the future, and can still have consequences. There is still death in this movie. There isn't, you know what I'm saying? I think that's something that James Gunn has been able to do over the years. Even if you're talking about just the Marvel stuff, if you're just referencing Marvel, he's done things prior to Marvel. Please do your homework on his filmography. But in terms of if you're just talking about Marvel, there was death in the Guardian series. There was consequence in the Guardian series, even though you had levity. You know what I'm saying? You can do both. So for me, I'm perfectly fine of where this is going. In terms of just entertainment, I think this is a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. I think that's just entertainment. If I'm judging it as like an artistic film, if I'm looking at it from that perspective, from like a technical, my personal taste, I would probably say 7. Because I think taste-wise, I preferred certain things taste-wise in Man of Steel, just off of imagery, off of costuming, off of the level of epicness that Zach likes to inject into some of his visuals. Taste, but that's an objective thing. I mean, that's a subjective thing for me. But I think overall, I love both films. I love both films quite a bit. But I think this is such a great, hopeful version of this character where you can see a build with this in terms of it being like a beacon for the DCU. and he will only get stronger from here, which is so exciting. Seeing him fight, people are like, oh, he's getting beat up. He's fighting himself, and he's fighting a Lex that has Superman's power. Like, I just want you to think about this and be like, oh, he's getting beat up all the time. He's getting beat up by himself with a brain of Lex Luthor. Like, let's put this into context. He's not fighting some nobody person. He's fighting himself with Lex's mind. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Superman's not trying to kill whoever he's fighting. So it's not like he's bloodlusted trying to fight whoever it is. He doesn't know who this person is. He's in this metal suit, then he's in a black suit. Then he finds out that it's himself. And you're like, okay. So you can see him start to take the fight a little bit more seriously, but you're still fighting Lex Luthor. Like, imagine if Lex, honestly, this was one of those things that was going around. If Lex had Superman's power, you had Lex's brain and Superman's power. How do you stop that? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, think about this really quick. Like, so this whole idea of like, well, he's been beating up guys. You're fighting arguably one of the most intelligent people in your verse with someone that is your power. Like, what are we talking about? It's not like he was fighting like a street level foe. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of those things that I'm just like, I just want people to really take it into context. And it's showing the genius of Lex in this. Like, L1, like, he was just calling out numbers. Like, I know how you fight. I've been studying you. I know exactly how to do this. I'm gonna bury you. Like, what are we talking about, guys? So all I'm saying is I think this is super sick. I think this is awesome. I am so excited. I want to see it again. I don't know if I will be able to see it again in the theaters just because time permits, but such a fun time. How are you guys feeling about it? Chat. What are your thoughts? Throw me your thoughts right now in the chat. Zena said, didn't Superman imply he himself would have died if he went into the black hole during the pocket dimension action scene? I mean, sure, the implication may have been there, but how many times has a hero went and implied something and then they survive it? Like, oh shit, I guess I didn't die. Again, implication isn't a certainty. So is it certain death? No. The hot girl scene is a certain death. My man said Superman wouldn't kill. I'm not Superman. That is a death. Like that. That is a death. So again, but if you want to go that route, cool, no big deal. It is what it is. But to sit here and my objection to what this other creator was saying is that is the reason why, like, oh, well, you guys said Superman kills and you hate this and this version of Superman. Like, why does it need to be a back and forth is what I'm saying. Just because you like this version of Superman doesn't mean Man of Steel just vanishes from existence. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't get it. The reason why James Gunn is here to begin with is because, unfortunately, the things that happened at DC prior, and it's not just Zack Snyder's fault, it was a whole committee of shit that was going on, didn't pan out successfully the way that they expected, that the fans expected. That's it. They moved on. You need to move on. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really that simple. But some people like to really harp on things and stay on things like, bro, that's done. Let's move forward. So yeah, love where we're going. Interpol said, I remember when Lex became the Flash. That was hilarious. I've never seen that, but that's crazy. Jonathan Tyler said, what's family friendly about it? Bright colors doesn't mean family friendly. Hell, James Gunn isn't even family friendly. Family friendly means, first of all, tone is a big thing. So music score, the brightness, like, I know some people are like, oh, that's not family friendly. Yes, it is. That's like, why do you think horror has a tone to it? Because it's set to imply a mood, right? So if something is gloomy, 9 times out of 10, people aren't taking their kids to see a horror movie. Like that is a tonal decision, right? So, but there are movies that appear bright with death, right? So it doesn't come off as like this non-approachable thing for kids. Is there fighting in this? Yes. Is there death in this? Yes. But tonally, you have that visual. You also have the dialogue in the film. There's a lot of quips in there. There's a lot of goofy one-liners. There's a lot of, regardless if you like the jokes or not, that are in there, but they're injected in there for levity. There are things about it that skew it more towards a family-friendly movie, as opposed to Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, where there was really there was no levity at all. It was a dark film, period. And I love the film, but it was a dark film. Superman didn't want to kill the kaiju, wanted to live and relocate it. Like guys, like my man was saving a squirrel on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Like, so these are the things that I'm talking about, where there is an objective focus of this in terms of it wanting to feel hopeful, wanting it to feel bright and approachable. That was the direction of the film. So to say that those are the only reasons, those are big reasons why people take people to films. Why do you think children's movies are bright? Why do you feel like they're vibrant and saturated? Like that is a tonal decision for film. I'm curious on how they're going to introduce Supergirl, especially since in most media iterations, Supergirl only gets to Earth post-primary. Well, and that's the thing. We see her in this. We don't fully understand how she, like, what and when she is in this. But we see her there, which is really dope. At the end of the film, where's my dog? Very dope. And it's so interesting now that you see that he doesn't say ever, where's my dog? Where's the dog? He keeps saying the dog. He's not saying that it's his. And that's one of those things that I didn't catch until the end of the movie. I was like, oh, he never said his dog. It was always, where's the dog? Dope. Love that. And on top of the fact that the dog's not trained because it's Kara's dog, and you see Kara at the end, it's like, this also now makes way more sense. Like, so it's really dope. It's really dope. She looks younger than Superman, so they probably stuck with the route of Supergirl getting to Earth after Superman. Right. Usually that's because she was stuck in the Phantom Zone or something like that, right? There was some kind of situation where she was stuck in time somewhere and Superman aged faster than she did outside of this pocket dimension, is what I'm assuming. And if they did go that route, then that's cool. But technically she's older, but she's not. But yeah, so Zenith said, I wasn't feeling Lex most of the movie. I don't know of any Superman lore, but this version of Lex was bratty and childlike at times. I also don't really understand his beef with Superman. Just seems like he's being bad to be bad. Well, he says in the movie, right, that he doesn't like the fact that the pinnacle of what's on Earth isn't human. Right? He believes he is the pinnacle. He wants to be seen as like a Da Vinci, an Einstein, or whatever, but he gets frustrated when people compare him to them because he feels that he's better than them. He is an egomaniac. That's how Lex is, right? So he explains it in the film. And then on top of that, him trying to paint Superman as a villain, as evil, as, hey, this is not good for humanity. Right? Lex is like, he's in his head, he's so good. He's so the best that it actually, I talked about this before. If you look at good and evil in a circle, right? And one half is good and one half is evil. And you go all the way to the extremity, you start peaking into evil, right? Because you just keep going to the point where you feel like you are now the arbiter of good. You're the arbiter of whatever, right? So if he's thinking this and he's like, why aren't people praising me the way they're praising him? He's not even from here, right? Y'all gassing him like he's some whatever. He's not from here. I'm from here. I'm this. I'm the best. he's battling with himself now, right? So, and he's also upset that Superman is this. So he's trying to make Superman this evil looking thing, which is why he sets Superman up in the media, trying to set this whole political situation up with him invading other countries and all of, like, that was the whole play, right? And then when it backfires on him, when it finds out that he gets okey-doked by his dopey girlfriend, he is now extremely upset. It's not the fact of him whining or being a brat. It's the fact of him saying, you turned everyone against me. You turned humanity against me. So if you have someone that already has this belief already and you now turn that on him, he is now at his wit's end. He's lost it. He's snapped, right? So the anger turns into that emotion. He's crying. He's frustrated. He's at his peak anger right now. So this is why I was saying, I feel like for some people, just look at, they want a broody type. Lex is not really a broody type. There is like certain, like in the animated series, Lex looks like a bodybuilder, right? So I get that some people may want that aesthetic, and that's cool. But in terms of like his motivations and stuff, it's very similar to what we're seeing. Robert Pattinson not being the DCU's Batman is such a letdown for me. But to be honest, I do kind of get it too. I don't think Pattinson's Batman would fit. And Luke said this is on brand due to his comic version. I agree 100%. This version of Lex is on par with Lex from Smallville. Very similar. And it feels like we're getting a lot of that Smallville flavor, which I'm super cool with. Interpol, what's good? But yeah, so from my perspective, I did really enjoy the film. If you guys have your thoughts, let me know in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you like it? Would love to know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. Can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts and see if you guys like this film. Let me know what you rate it 1 out of 10, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Very, very dope. Yeah, man, I enjoyed it, bro. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Hopefully those that are here on YouTube are ready for some of the anime reactions, because we're about to jump over to Twitch to knock this other amazing stuff out. You vibing to the new Pusha album. Oh, there's a new Pusha album? Not Clips? It's a Pusha album? Is Clips have an album, or does Pusha have his own album? Clips album. I didn't know Clips album dropped. Man, I didn't know that was a thing. All right. Well, maybe we'll do that on Thursday. I'm not sure. We might do that then. Who knows? It's so fire, but I believe it. I don't know that Pusha T has. I didn't know Pusha T has a brother. And Luke, so the group, the Clips, that was him and his brother. And like I said before, I think I've always thought that Malice would have been, I always thought Malice was doper. But yeah. No Malice is back on the album. Oh yeah, for sure. 100%. You can't have Clips without No Malice. Then it's just Pusha T. But yeah, I'm shocked Toshi is streaming while an Adonis is streaming. It's such a rare sight to see. But yeah, Malice is diabolical. Malice is a diabolical name to have in the hood, not gonna lie. Hey, bro, I'm just saying, bro. I think Toshi might be streaming on tour, because I think I'm not sure if he's doing dance stuff or he's just doing like behind like BTS stuff. But we're about to jump over. So if you guys are on YouTube and you guys want to catch these reactions, jump over to Twitch. Link is already in the description. So jump over there for us so you guys don't miss out on the goodness, because we will be taking this to the next level. Are you guys ready to do this? Are you guys ready to go? I'll catch you guys over on the Twitch.